Now, from the sensory deprivation chambers at Bilko Media's Main Street studios, it's the Justin Hustin program. Well, hello from the deprivation chambers. Oh no. There it goes again. Well, they already know, Raymond. If I don't tell them, it'll just get worse. Well, that awful, god awful sound is my paleorhythmus or ancient music. I don't know why they call it that because it doesn't sound like music. Well, I do know why, but there it is again. Oh Lord. Put it on standby, Raymond. Just put it on standby. Okay. Okay, I think I'm back. So, okay, people, but I don't mean people. I like to say folks or everyone but anyway, I was diagnosed with paleorhythmus in my middle teens, and while it may sound frightening, it's basically just one of those nervous tics that starts out like butterflies in your stomach, then erupts into the esophagus before finally getting caught in the back of the throat. And it's brought on by stress and the anxieties. Primitive man had a lot of those, and so you'd hear it a lot back then, but now it's more like an emotional appendix. I do take permethol and doctor pills for it, but I guess this morning has just been a little too much. I guess the nice thing though is many scholars believe that paleorhythmus is how music started. So just think of it like that. So anyway, we're in the Bilko Media's notorious sensory deprivation chambers, previously rumored and now quite real and terrifying. But we're here and awfully glad that you're here with us. Now, about 30 minutes ago, or a half an hour ago, I guess, I and Raymond, and Miss Kelly, we all, well, okay, I'll come back to that, but just so you have an idea, I have been placed in a vat or a tank full of cold liquids, and I'm hoping that it's water. You remember when you used to go to those haunted houses and somebody would say, "Here, put your hand in this bowl of eyeballs," but it really was just, like a bunch of slimy grapes, or here, put your hands in these brains and it'd be pasta. So I'm hoping that this is just, well, it, a water or something. So I've been stripped naked and put in liquids. It's starless and Bible black in here. That's how dark it is. And from what I can tell, the same has happened to Raymond and Miss Kelly. I think all of us have been fitted with headphones, and that's good. We're able to talk and cut up and all, but that's bad. You're not supposed to have electrical equipment close to water. But about 9 or 10 or 10:30 this morning, everything was fine. We were in the powwow room with head studio person, Lemuel L. Braxton, just talking about the show and do this and do that. And then he said, well, why don't we go ahead and do something for Easter? And right away, I jumped in and told him, no, I don't want to because I'm agnostic. And he said, what the hell is that? And so I explained that agnostics are willfully ignorant of religion and politics on account of confrontation, and maybe we could just get out of the break room and go to a quiet place. And that's when Mr. Braxton said that I was willfully ignorant about a lot more stuff and blah blah blah, and I stopped listening. And then he said bordering on insubordination and whatever that means. But boy, that got my attention, and of a sudden the doors to the powwow room just burst open, and in came this bunch of thugs, or the Bilko thugs as they're called, and you see them around all the time, but you never knew what they did or do, and they wear these suits that look like somebody started to make a police suit and then quit, but they yanked us up, and Mr. Braxton said that since I like complaining, he'd give me something to complain about, and then made a thumb over his shoulder, and and that wasn't towards the door, so it didn't make any sense. But anyway, I said that Miss Kelly and Raymond didn't have anything to do with this between us, and it didn't stop. He said since nobody would tell him who threw the eraser, the whole class would have to pay. So he could be crazy. So long story short, too late. I know, right? Too late. But the Bilko thug, and they're not. I don't like to call them that. Thugs, they're security people, I guess, just like me and you. But they yanked us out into the hall and lined us up, and then put blindfolds on us, and away we went, boy, down this way and over here and over there, and then on an elevator, I think, but just a jerking and a pulling and a pushing, and I don't know what all, but it's not bad, really. But I did have one of those ciabatta slims for breakfast, and it's trying to come up on me. But let's go ahead and get all this shoo out of the way and get on with it. Now, well, Thursday it was a little warm, and a little warmer than it should have been, warmer than usual, and that makes people do weird stuff and that they don't usually do. So I said, hang it all, and dad blame it, I'm going out for a highball, and I don't care if it's 9 p.m. So I went over to the El Diablo's and walked right into a karaoke. How about that? I ordered my highball, and then I caught Raymond was there. He doesn't want me to tell about it, but anyway, I hear splashing around. Can you? That's Raymond over there at his deprivation pit, just shaking his head. No, but I'm gonna tell. So I walked in, and Raymond was on the karaoke stage there, and he was up there just giving it heck, and he was up there. Looks like we made it. His face was beet red. He was belting it out. Looks like we made it, that Barry Manilow song. And Raymond did a real good job with that one. I liked that one. Looks like we made it by Barry Manilow. That's a good one. I hadn't been to karaoke in a long time, but I guess it's, still on Thursday everywhere, it seems like. I used to go back in Alabaster, Alabama, over at Daryl's Point, and I thought, why do they call it Daryl's Point? It's not on a mountain, but it was a darts bar. I found out, and people said, "Oh, you gotta go to Daryl's Point because they have all these dart throwing games like Hit the Bullseye and competitions and tournaments." And so some nights they'd have 15 or 20 boards going all at the same time, darts are flying and people are ducking. Very dangerous, but everybody loved that. And let's all go down to Daryl's Point. Then the tournaments got really big, and that's all that anybody wanted to talk about down there. Daryl was the best, though, and they all wanted to be on Daryl's team, and they got so good that rumors started up that they were doping, and that got in the paper. The tournament got really, really big, and people started betting money on it, and then the syndicate moved in, and the rumor was that if Daryl's team didn't flop on the next big tournament, the syndicate would kill his family. So sure enough, they lost, and that put an end to darts down at the point. And then karaoke took over, and everybody said, "Oh, you gotta go to karaoke at Daryl's Point," and man, I had a time. So that's what I'm saying, Ram. Don't get embarrassed. I used to go all the time and sing, and sometimes 6 or 8 times a night, and they all said what a good job I'd done, and I ought to think about going pro and all of these kind of things. Sometimes somebody would put on the jukebox in the middle of me singing, and I'd just tell them, turn it off, turn it off, and just keep going. And I'd usually start off the night and also be the finale as well. And after a while, the crowds, started thinning out, but I kept at it and got up to 10 or 12 songs there at the end. And then one night I came in and no one was there, so I had to sing all night. It wasn't too long after that Daryl shut down, but that was a real good place. So Raymond's, like I was, a leader, 10 or 15 years older than the kids there at the El Diablos. They're from the BBC, He's out there showing them how the ropes are, I think I hear Raymond splashing around in his tank again, but the BCC, the Borough Community College, has a lot of talented youngsters enrolled over there in the interruptive dance and the crockpot class. But, that's a couple of things they're known for. But those kids like to get out on Thursday night and see real talent like Raymond. And he was right in there with them, and they all patted him on the back and talked with him and all. And I heard one gal tell him that he should be on America's Has Got Talent. She might be sweet on you, Raymond. So you better look at. And now the second-hand news. And now that investigation report on millennials. They're taking over, but don't know it. Millennials are people between their people. But what? Miss Kelly says that I'm pronouncing it wrong. Well, how do you? Okay. I think millennials. Now I've got it. Yes. But anyway, young people are flooding into the jobs market, and this year they'll outnumber the Gen X and also the baby bloomers, and that's what Grandmother Hustin used to call women's underpanties, bloomers. But I'm a bloomer and not underpanties, so I know what they're talking about with these young people. It seems that they are mentally ill or maybe giant babies or something, but they consistently involve themselves in the bizarre and inexplicable, such as riding hoverboards at the workplace, or eating snacks, or being themselves. They lie and poop on the sidewalk. They wear colorful hats out of season, and sometimes, when confronted, they may demand an apology. Recent article in the New York Times exposed an entire nest of these things, all cramped together in a tiny 15,000 square foot office space in Manhattan, and they were eating snacks while trying to write the news for other retarded youngsters who enjoy snacks as well. The company called Mick or Mike, or well, it's M-I-C. You remember that? M-I-C-K-E-Y-Y? Because I'm like you. Boy, that was a good one. But they all go in there and write the news on their skateboards and write about vaginas and being colorblind. But this one top news person, he told his overseer, who is only 28, that he said to the overseer that his buddy had died, and could he have tomorrow off? And the boss said, he's a nice guy. The overseer boss said, sure, take as much time as you need. So the fellow took a week off, but he didn't have a buddy that died, and he just wanted to build a tree house on account of stress. And then on top of that, he told all about lying and building his tree house on faceplate and blogs and Twitters, and his boss got wind of it, got mad at him, and said that he could have snacks and ride his tricycle, but he better not ever lie again or he'd get in trouble. And then later in the week, he got a trophy for writing a headline about popsicles. So helping out the millennials is not just a big city gag either. It's right here in small town USA. The Borough News is reporting that the entire valley is making accommodations to secure the brain trust of this new generation. Efforts include making sidewalks easier to walk on, paper mache donkeys, affordable housing, and culture. Everybody likes sidewalks and culture. One of the boroughs is even going so far as to create a website with a calendar so the young people know if it's today or not. If you find all of this confusing like a regular human, perhaps it will help you to know that the breakfast cereal industry is in trouble, due in part to an influx of millennials. And they just won't take cereals anymore because it's too much of a hassle. But, put yourself in their shoes for a minute. Alone in a kitchen with no one to help you. Imagine removing a box from the pantry, opening it, looking around for a bowl. Now comes the pouring. Now the internet search for where people keep milk. More pouring. And finally, the spoon and the shameful act of eating. Too much. Too much. Well, if you're still confused, consider these words of wisdom from that fella who had to make a tree house to make his stress not be so stressful. Joel, his name is Joel, and Joel says, quote, "The one thing I don't want people to mistake is that we're serious about this and that we're taking over. That is all. Roger Wilco, over and out. We'll be right back with selfie help." Every house is made of something, and yours is no different. That's why you deserve to treat yourself at...
It's a secret. It's a secret.
Get into the kitchen for a gourmet meal.
It's a secret.
Look out, look out.
It's a secret.
English talking.
It's a secret.
Get in bed for a stunning makeover.
It's a secret.
Look out, look out. Neighbors.
It's a secret. It's a secret.
Pop, pop, pop.
It's a secret.
Now grab a pen and paper for this important information.
It's a secret.
Unlike others, It's a Secret is not affiliated.
It's a secret. It's a secret. It's a secret. It's a secret. It's a secret.
Bop, bop, bop.
3, 2, 1. Selfie! It's time for Selfie Help. A long, hard look in the mirror of the disaster you call life. Justin Hustin is ill-equipped to give advice, and he has no training in the fields of psychiatry, psychology, or social work.
Well, our topic today comes in, and I'm very excited about this. It comes in through the email. Remember, last week we got an email, our first one, that wasn't filled with nasty, filthy language. So this one comes to us all the way from Akron, Ohio, and I don't know where that is, so I don't have any fun stories or funny stories to talk about Akron, but it's Ohio, so Miss Kelly's telling me I'm getting it wrong again. Melinda does show, now I've got it. She writes in, it says, "Dear Justin," I like that. A proper greeting is always good. She says, "Dear Justin, I've been thinking about putting it out there. Should I just go for it? What do you think? I'll take my answer off air." Well, Melinda, no. Putting it out there is a terrible idea. 10 years ago, I might have said yes. We've learned so much about putting it out there, though, in the last 10 years. Most of today's people say do not do that. And if you stop and think, you'll understand why. First of all, before you even consider putting anything anywhere, you'll need to give it a name. It is not a name, and calling your thing it usually indicates that you still have some work to do. Naming your it is a strong step in the right direction, but you'll also need stuff that goes with the name. For instance, an idea or choreography. The name, you see, will get people interested, but the stuff will let them know that you're not a complete idiot. Finally, you'll have to decide how much money you've decided to make, $5 or $50 million. This part of putting it out there is known as your goal. Without it, you'll never know when to quit, and people will begin to despise you like they did the Rolling Stones. So, remember, name it, get some stuff, say how much money you want to get, then quit. If you haven't mastered these basics, I hate to say it, but putting it out there will only invite mockery, ridicule, and shunning. But I bet you're going to be fine and help you help yourself. Hey, you know what? We've got a heaping helping of utter nonsense coming up next on Reading Twitters.
I'm Goody Goodison. For what color's your stuff? This holiday season, I'd like to take it down just a notch and ask you, what color's your Meemaw? She might be a little sick, a little off color something. You don't need to worry about that. Put your Meemaw in a box, real comfortable with some of them styrofoam peanuts, so she don't rattle around in there. Send her to me. Now, this is a little more expensive, so put a check in there or go to my website and put in your credit card. I'll open her up real gentle like, and I'll tell you, she's a little gray, or she's brown in some certain places, or what? Are you kidding? She's fine, you idiot. So don't worry about it. Have a happy holiday. I'm Goody Goodus, and what color's your meemaw?
Reading Twitters, reading Twitters, reading Twitters, yeah!
Well, before we get started on today's Twitters, many of you have reached out via email, Twitters, and phone recordings expressing your concern about the disconcerting ending to last week's show. If you remember, when we dialed into Mother Hustin, a strange man answered her phone, and I threatened to drive down there and find out what the heck was going on. However, before I could gas up the Prius, I discovered a message on my personal phone machine from my brother Harold. Raymond, can we play that now? Oh, and by the way, how is all of this happening? We're all here naked in our deprivation pits, but the show seems to... So, okay. So Miss Kelly is telling me that outside the deprivation chambers, we only use 1% of our brain minds, but here, being deprived here in the deprivation chamber and all, we get the whole 100%. Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, so I get so we're using our mind brains to control the controls. So it's just like normal, but from using our mind brains. Okay, well, you and Raymond know all about that. So, but anyway, let's go ahead and roll that phone machine call from my brother Harold. Well, I guess we weren't using all of our brain minds because it sounded funny, but Harold sounds sometimes, but well, Harold, I guess I'll tell you what it was. Harold, last week, he heard me say on this show that I was driving down to see what was going on at Mother's with that man, and he called and said not to, and that he was there with the twins on a house sitting visit for Mother. So I guess she's run off with a conjugal man or a cougar, like a cougar man, and they've run off together on spring break in Daytona Beach, Florida. But well, Mother's 76 years old. Why is she going around with a conjugal cougar man? Well, when we get out of these chambers, we'll have to find... I know. Anyway, here's some of the Twitters. So let's see. We have... here's one... Penguin Teen retweeted Mindy McGinnis @ Mindy McGinnis 24M, and it says details about given to the sea.
my fantasy coming from @penguin in 2017 are up now! Exclamation point. Rider pants on fire .blogspot.com /2016/03 watt-I ... So that's one from Mindy McGinnis. Let's see if we can find another one here. Here's one from Melville House, @Melville House 29M, and this says, let's collectively translate Cervantes! Exclamation point. And then it says bit.ly/1xsf5j9. So that's one from the Melville House, I guess. Let's see, what do we have here? There's some pretty good ones today, it looks like. What we have? Well, I'm not... Here's one from Oxford Academic, @OUP Academic 49M, and it says, thank you for playing #Oxford Fortune Cookie! Exclamation point. Today's fortunes are from the Oxford Dictionary of Quotations, bit.ly/1IIDWIF. And I want to try, let's see if we have time, Raymond, to do maybe one more. Look around here and see if we can find one. Here's one from the UC Press, @UC Press 30M. Sign up to discuss if philanthropy alleviates poverty at Erica Cole at the AAG author me secret script panel on 3/29 4:40 p.m. So that'll be then 4:40. Here's another one from the Oxford Academic at OUP Academic 40M. Hey, athletes, do you know how your sports drinks work to keep your thirst quenched and electrolytes balanced? And then it has bit.l and so forth like that. That's all the time we have now for the Twitters. The Justin Hustin Show is brought to you by Seaster, Easter's awkward cousin. My other car is a horse. And Jabbo's House of Felt. The process. Well, the mighty tide is warming up for a brand new season. It's springtime in T-Town and the process begins again. Question marks at key positions.
Who's gonna fill those cleats? The front runner at running back seems to be Bo Scarborough, but he's got some learning left to do, and he'll have to stay healthy. The QB position is more complicated as the competition heats up between the experienced Cooper Bateman and last year's scout team hero Blake Barnett. The two, Raymond, what is that? What, the feeling. What is this feeling? What is going on, Raymond? Raymond. Miss Kelly, I can't hear anyone. Are y'all there? Can you hear me? I can't. Hello? Help? Hello? I feel like I'm stretching. Can you hear? I'm being stretched out far, like, oh my God, I think I'm dipping. Raymond, I'm dipping. Oh my goodness. I feel like a ribbon. I'm becoming a ribbon like in a type. Help. OMG. OMG. Anyone. Oh. It's full of stars. OMG. OMG. OMG.